As the world's most prestigious open-wheel development series continues its 30th anniversary celebration, it's only fitting that it starts the second half of that tribute here in Toronto, Ontario. It was from this town that a man indelibly placed his mark upon the Atlantic tradition. His name is Bill Brack, and he became the first champion in the series' storied history. He was such a formidable competitor, in fact, that he became the owner of the first 2 championship trophies. Brack's driving daring-do, along with his insightful engineering skills, combined to take him to a total of 4 poles and 6 wins over the first 2 seasons. If you drove an Atlantic car in the early 70s, the last thing you wanted to see was the orange #1 in your mirrors. In most instances, that meant that you were either going to lose your position or, worse yet, be lapped. Just moments ago, this crowd was treated to a return to yesteryear as Bill Brack drove his championship steed for a couple of laps around this venerable racecourse. The series, of course, carries a very strong Canadian flavor with races in 74 and 75 at such venues as Edmonton, Busport Park, and, of course, Trois-Rivières, where we'll be in just 3 weeks.
Well, Bill, it must mean a lot to be able to come back here and be a part of the 30th anniversary celebration of the Toyota Atlantic Championship.
I'm so happy to be here. It was a really big surprise when I heard that they wanted to be here with this car, and I just couldn't wait to get the car polished up and ready to go to drive around with these people. The cars here today, the new Atlantic cars, are fantastic, and a lot of the people I remember remember me from back then are still involved. It's wonderful.
Great to see a great champion and a legendary race car back on track.
A slim nose and skinny Formula 3 tires.
It is a fast field. 10 drivers cracked Craig Hill's 1973 qualifying record, with Bertil Roos leading the way. Brack's strategy pays off, and he jumps into an early lead. Roos, as always, charges, and the race becomes a test of courage and skill. The fans are treated to a fantastic game of cat and mouse. All the electric appeal of motor racing is focused on the 2 leaders. Torontonian Bruce Jensen and Edmonton's Dave Morris have their own battle going for 3rd and 4th places. Controversy strikes the players' Alberta. Craig Hill explains.
Wink Bancroft spun out on a curve leading to the front straight. And of course, the marshals upstream started waving yellow flags, which means extreme danger, do not pass. Now, once you're past the danger point, however, and see a green flag, you can start racing again. If you do pass on a yellow, CASC rules call for an automatic 30-second penalty. Roos passed Brack at the entrance to the corner. After that, all Bill had to do was keep him in sight. Fred Opert had the unpleasant task of breaking the news to his driver. Bill Brack was declared the winner, Bruce Jensen was second after a fine drive, and Dave Morris was third. The 30-second penalty dropped Roos to 4th.
I'd love to present to you, on behalf of players, the Challenge Series trophy.
Brack is bringing them around slowly and gingerly on this slick surface. Starter John Leatherdale checks the lineup. I-91, John Woodner, is wide on the last turn. Into corner 1, it's Brack, #1, leading, followed by Roos, 40, Klausler, 63, and Ray Hall, 23. Rebecca, 5, Forbes Robinson, 44, Brown, 79, and Woodner. Brack continues to lead the STP Chevron. Gilles Villeneuve is charging, if anyone can be charging in this stuff, in his number 69 Ski Rule March. Bobby Ray Hall has passed Roos for second. Roos is off in corner 1. I think we'll call that the Gimli Park Lake. Now Peter Ferguson is going for a swim. Maybe he should change the name to the Samsonite Chevron All-Terrain Special. At least with those wide tires, a guy can kind of float his way out of the swamp. They claim that rain separates the men from the boys. Well, Bobby Rahal, the leader, is 22, and in his first year in Formula Atlantic. Bill Brack, in second, is 39, and closing the gap on his tail is 24-year-old Gilles Villeneuve, a second-year driver in the series. Gilles Villeneuve has passed Brack. The promising young driver from Bircheville, Quebec, is now second. Craig Hill is 12th and driving in his usual steady manner. Oops, I spoke too soon. Rahal just drove straight off the track in corner 7. He's splashing around trying to pull back on, but this puts number 69, Gilles Villeneuve, into the lead. Here comes Gilles Villeneuve, the new leader of the Players Manitoba. Right now, he's in command, and it will be interesting to see if Rahal can exert the same kind of pressure from second. Price Cobb in number 6 and Tim Cooper are the only Shearson cars left. Villeneuve is lapping number 1, Bill Brack. He might as well enjoy it. He may never have another chance. Brack has spun again. And to think, he won the Players Maritime last year in the rain by 2 full laps. Villeneuve is closing in to lap Price Cobb, who is in 3rd place. His snowmobile experience must be paying off. We understand he tricked up his helmet somehow to prevent fogging. Number 23, Bobby Rahal, hasn't gained an inch. Joanne Villeneuve must be holding her breath. Starter John Leatherdale gives Villeneuve the last lap sign. Uh-oh, Price Cobb is out of shape. He almost did it on the last lap, and Bobby Rahal laps him. Every driver who competed in this race deserves a big hand.
I'd like to now call on Gilles Villeneuve to come forward, and they'll present him with the Players Manitoba trophy and his check for $5,000.
Thank you very much, Dave. And congratulations to Gilles Villeneuve.
Gilles is full of water instead of champagne.
CASC President George Chapman presents second place money to Bobby Rahal and third place to Price Cobb.
Close second, very well driven, and I must say that I enjoyed watching.
And the champagne.
Hopefully, Gilles Villeneuve will develop a taste for champagne. We'll find out at the next Players Challenge Series race. The Players Quebec from the reopened Le Circuit at Saint-Jovite.
My snowmobile experience certainly helped me a lot for winning the Players Manitoba. First of all, because we are used to the race in very bad condition, like not seeing at all. Another reason is that I learned a good trick during winter racing, which is of putting 2 pieces of tape over my nose, and when I put my helmet on my head, that puts the tape down, and when I breathe, my breath goes down and outside of the helmet so that my visor never fog. And that's very important because it helps a lot for seeing. And another reason is during winter, the track are always on ice and sometimes on snow. So it's always on very slippery condition. And another reason is probably because I'm an optimist. A race driver asks for a lot of sacrifice. We have to work all the time, check if the car is right and work on it. And when we're not working, sleep early. So because it takes a lot of rest and a lot of concentration to drive a race car. But driving the car is so much, gives me so much that I don't mind making all those sacrifices. And if we think of the women in racing, it's even tougher than the driver itself because they have to strain to those same sacrifices. And it's not them that have the pleasure of driving. And instead of that, they are always anxious until the end of the race because they never know what can happen. So it's really tough on the racing people themselves and also on the mechanic. So it really takes people who love racing to do it.